Worried about gout? Check out Ural, the effective urinary alkalinizer. Ural, neutralize your uric acid problem now.
This is KiniNews and I'm your host Prasad. I'm sure you'd like to know how much money Najib Abdul Razak has, but according to him, it's not 2.6 billion ringgit. Former Prime Minister Najib Abdul Razak says he does not have the 2.6 billion ringgit in assets sought by 1MDB and its subsidiaries. In a post on Facebook, Najib said he does not know why 1MDB thinks he has 2.6 billion ringgit when he does not even have the money to pay the 1.7 billion ringgit sought by the Inland Revenue Board. Najib said this after 1MDB secured an ex-parte Mareva injunction to freeze his assets. With the injunction, the Pekan MP will only be allowed to withdraw 100,000 ringgit per month for living expenses. According to US investigators, in March 2013, Najib received $681 million misappropriated from 1MDB. Of this amount, $620 million was allegedly returned to accounts controlled by fugitive businessperson Joe Low. Some of the returned funds were allegedly used to purchase jewelry for Najib's wife Rosma Mansour. Najib insists that the $681 million was a donation from the Saudi royal family and denied any wrongdoing. He is currently on trial over the alleged misappropriation. Najib today implied that 1MDB's civil suit was politically motivated. He also claimed that the law firm representing 1MDB is owned by PN chief Muhyiddin Yassin's personal lawyer. He said it was clear that the suit was filed to create perception that he had assets valued at $681 million that can be freezed. He said the perception was false because the government clearly knows how much assets he possesses after years of investigations. Najib also said in his post that the suit coincides with the upcoming Johor snap elections. Fuad Zakarshi has been called an old donkey after accusing Harapan Youth of being a failure since the coalition has offered seats to Youth Party Muda to contest in Johor. UMNO Supreme Council member Muhammad Fuad Zakarshi has accused Pakatan Harapan of using Muda to appeal to young voters. Fuad said the move to offer 9 seats to Muda for the Johor state election was also an admission that Harapan's youth wings had failed to deliver. Writing on Facebook, Fuad said this showed that youth wings such as PKR Youth and DAP Youth have failed to gain youth support. The March 23rd election would witness 18-year-olds casting their ballots for the first time following the successful implementation of Undi 18. In response to Puat, Harapan Youth Chief Howard Lee said Puat's logic is flawed.
Yang peliknya, kenapa kedai tua UMNO ni yang bersuara nak melawan kononnya pemuda PH gagal sekian-sekian? Mana ketua pemuda UMNO? Tak kira gagal ke sampai kena backup pemuda sendiri? Fahamlah kita, dalam UMNO ni pemuda diberi ruang dan peluang adalah atas ihsan dan sedekah abang-abang atas-atas. Tapi bagilah muka sikit. WhatsApp je kat ketua pergerakan pemuda UMNO. Suruhlah dia kritik. UMNO kecut. Sebab PH adalah satu wadah yang menggembling, mampu menggembling, berjaya menggembling tenaga dan suara semua orang. Baik parti muda maupun anak-anak muda. Kalau PH sanggup bersama, kerjasama, berkongsi-kongsi dengan muda pun dikira gagal. Yang UMNO bersatu parti-parti Melayu ni pun dikira gagal jugalah. Sampai berduyun-duyun ada parti Melayu macam cendawan lepas hujan.
Fahmi Reza pleaded not guilty today. If you're wondering what he was charged with for allegedly publishing an obscene posting with the intent to annoy another person. Graphic designer Fahmi Reza, best known by most Malaysians for his clown caricature of Najib Abdul Razak, has claimed trial for improper use of his Twitter account to insult a minister last year.
Macam biasa korang tahu aku akan terus walaupun berapa kali aku kena panggil polis, kena soal siasat, kena tangkap, kena heret ke mahkamah, it won't stop me lah. Aku takkan berhenti daripada berkarya lah. Kerana aku rasa ini salah satu kebebasan kita sebagai rakyat untuk bersuara dan berekspresi. Ya, aku akan terus lawan apa-apa percubaan dan tindakan untuk menyekat kebebasan kita. So I will continue to fight for my rights.
However, it is not clear from the charge sheet which minister was allegedly targeted by the purported posting. It is understood that the alleged posting was in relation to last year's issue of the Health Ministry's relaxation of quarantine rules for Malaysian ministers coming back from overseas travel. Fahmi made the plea when the charge was read out before the Kuala Lumpur Sessions Cyber Court this morning. According to a copy of the charge sheet, Fahmi was alleged to have uploaded the posting via his Twitter account on February 10th, 2021. Framed under Section 233, Bracket 3 of the Communications and Multimedia Act, the charge is for the offence of improper use of network facilities to make an obscene posting with the intent to annoy another person. If found guilty, the accused may be fined not exceeding 50,000 ringgit, jailed up to a year, or penalised with both penalties. Judge Sabaria Atan granted bail of 5,000 ringgit with one surety and fixed March 30th for mention of the case. It was previously reported that the activist would be charged today over an online posting. On January 26th, Bernama reported that Fahmi was called to Bukit Aman to assist in investigations in connection with another social media post. Amanah and DAP seat negotiation with Muda went rather smoothly. However, the same cannot be said about the negotiations between PKR and Muda.
Who is waiting on who? That is the question we're left with, as both PKR and Muda claim they're waiting for feedback from the other party. This is in connection with their seat negotiations for the Johor polls. Johor PKR chief Syed Ibrahim Said No said his party has offered 3 seats for Muda to contest in the upcoming state polls. He said Muda has yet to give their feedback over the offer. However, the Muda Political Bureau, in a separate statement, said they too have conveyed to PKR that it wishes to contest in 3 seats. It said all 3 seats were not won or contested by PKR in the last general election. PKR and Muda have not disclosed which seats were offered or requested respectively. The Muda Political Bureau added that details of the negotiations should be kept behind closed doors until it is resolved and ready for an announcement to the media. Yesterday, Amanah and DAP announced that they have finalized negotiations with Muda and will give up 6 seats to the youth-focused party.
The MACC continues to hound whistleblower Lalita, this time with another police report over the accuracy of a statement of defence.
The MACC has lodged another police report against whistleblower Lalita Kunaratnam. This time, an MACC officer claimed that Lalita had lied to the court by stating that she was a researcher with the Centre to Combat Corruption and Cronyism. Lalita is currently fighting a lawsuit brought by its Chief Commissioner Azam Baki. The whistleblower, who is being sued by Azam for write-ups about his share ownership in publicly listed companies, had put the job description in a statement of defence. However, MACC is disputing Lalita's claim, saying that she was no longer an employee of the C4 Centre since December 2020. The officer who lodged the report had based the allegation on a statement made by C4 Centre last month, where the non-government organisation said Lalita had ceased being an employee with C4 Centre since December 2020. Central District Police Chief Bae Eng Lai, when contacted, confirmed with Malaysia Kini that police had received the report lodged by an MACC officer, but directed further queries to the Kuala Lumpur Police Chief.
Things aren't looking too good for Bersatu, at least on the surface, as it loses more members to UMNO.
Bersatu continues to bleed members, and to make things worse for Muhyiddin Yassin's party, many have chosen to return to UMNO. The latest involved a group of Bersatu members led by the Amaran Division Sri Kandi chief, Siti Nora Muhammad Noor. She resigned and announced her backing for UMNO along with 32 other Bersatu members. They submitted their UMNO membership forms to Pahang UMNO chief, Wan Rosli Wan Ismail, at a simple ceremony in Kuantan, Pahang yesterday. They also announced the dissolution of the Maran Bersatu Sri Kandi wing. Wan Rosli, who is also the Pahang Menteri Besar, hailed Siti Nora's decision. He said it was the right call and an endorsement of UMNO's good governance in the state. He claimed that UMNO is the only party that can help the people, as was proven during the COVID-19 pandemic. Meanwhile, Siti Nora announced that some 100 more Maran Bersatu members would be joining UMNO.
The Omicron wave is accelerating in Malaysia, and experts fear reopening the borders too soon may cause a few problems.
The Health Ministry today reported 19,090 new COVID-19 cases. This is the highest number of new cases since September 15th. The infectivity rate has also risen to the level of 1.47. The value must be kept under 1.0 to prevent an exponential rise in fresh infections. In a separate development, the National Recovery Council's recommendation for Malaysia's borders to be reopened fully to all countries as early as next month has triggered concerns among several pandemic experts. They warn that doing so when the Omicron wave is expected to be peaking may lead to an overload of positive COVID-19 cases in the country and risk overwhelming Malaysia's healthcare system. Professor Dr. Moy Fong Meng told Malaysia Kini that the borders should only open after the Omicron surge has flattened. Meanwhile, public health policy researcher Dr. Lim Chihan warned that the country may pay a high price should it decide to rely on testing alone without imposing mandatory quarantine on travellers.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. If you'd like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com. I'm Prasad. Thank you for watching.